same vision to begin with, which was really kind of fun to work together. I'm going to start out and give you guys kind of the overview of the project and things like that. So what we
You
decided
back
on
up yet?
was working with landforms in New York State, and we thought what we would do is have the students create their own review website, but there's more to it than just that. This is just one piece of what could really be a full year project. It could be done with every unit, really. And also it could be done across the state or across the country with different schools, so that the students could get on and see other students' websites and learn a lot from them about areas and the landforms that are in different areas. So, like I said, the vision would really be for this to be a lot bigger than just this one unit. But we focused on one unit for now. And what we decided we would do is, as the students progress through the unit, they would be learning about different landforms in the area. And then we would kind of culminate it with a field trip to some local landforms. And the students would then have to make their own observations of the landform and also take a photograph that they would put on their website. Also take a GPS reading to add a little more technology to it. And when they created their website, they would have to put a map on and pinpoint their GPS location. And we created our website to kind of imitate what the students would be doing. So this is just a pinpoint, where their location is on their GPS coordinates. So that could be something they researched, it could be something they saw in an observation. That's very subjective to them, but we thought it would be really more fun for them to add a little bit of their own touch. So,
first thing I wanted to say is if you mouse over the web page, and on the top right there's a little zoom in button, a little plus magnifying glass. If you click on that, you'll really be able to see the website. I'm going to flip through a few pages and go over what the students would be responsible for making after all the field trip work. Try not to press any of the other buttons, but if you do zoom in, that would be fine. So the main purpose of our website here was to show an example of what the students would create. We do have a teacher page and the rubrics and student forms page, which would be more of the administrative side. But I'm going to start right in on the the first landform that we picked for our website was the Adirondack Mountains. You can see there's a photo. There's some history on the Adirondacks. I included a reference website to every page that we created, just for some additional information, also to the site where I got a lot of the information from. But one of the things that I really like about this assignment is the combination of field work that students do and the incorporation of technology. That not only do they have to do the field work, but now they've got to put the photo, the estimate, they got to put that into Word. The job on it becomes but so, I'm not going to read through all this information, but I will go through the interesting facts on our pages here. So the Adirondacks, Mount Marcy is the tallest mountain at 5,344 feet. There's 2,000 miles of foot trails, 2,300 lakes and ponds, and 1,500 miles of rivers. So those are some interesting little tidbits that I found, researching this. The next thing is the Finger Lakes. Obviously, this isn't a picture that I took. Actually, none of these are photos that I took, or any of us took. Pulled them off the web. But these would all be, pictures that the students took during the field trips. Or part of their assignment is to find a local landform around their home. With their family, if they're out on vacation or whatever. Just one other. Each of the students in the group would bring one additional landform to the group would be doing 6 landforms. So there's that. We move over to Niagara Falls. Again, got another photo, some history on the falls, and some interesting facts about Niagara Falls. This 7-year-old boy wearing only a life jacket and bathing suit accidentally went over the falls, the Canadian Falls, and survived. And that was back in 1960. So that I thought was very interesting. And then 6 million cubic feet of water goes over the falls, and so on and so forth. We've got Howe Cavern, which is somewhere I've been. I've got several photos of the caverns. The most interesting thing that I thought of after I finalized the site was the Omegang Brewery actually keeps some of their beer down in the caverns because of the constant temperature down there. It's a great place for them to store their beer, and they've actually got some that they planned on keeping down there for like 10 years, and then opening it up after that and drinking it. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was during one of the tours I had down at Cavern. Thousand Islands, again, some history about Thousand Islands. There's 1,700 islands that make up the Thousand Islands. I guess they got tired of counting after 1,000. 17 islands are included in the St. Lawrence Islands National Park, and the first European settlement in this area was located in Kingston, Ontario in 1675, the opening of Fort Fontana. Now, this was the only page that I included a photograph that wasn't exactly a photograph, mostly because taking a picture of a drumlin is it's a little boring, actually. It's a mound. It's tough to see from the ground level exactly what it is. So I put this schematic on there just to kind of get a better idea for everyone to see what it is. And again, some history on how they're created. They're formed by glacier moving across. Moving across the land, and you can see on the schematic that you've got the ice flow in one direction, and even as that ice is melting, the entire ice flow is still moving in that same direction. So even as the ice pack is melting, you still get this same shape everywhere. There actually are some very good aerial photos showing lines of drumlins, and near the Finger Lakes as well. So that's pretty good. And finally, even though we don't have any more in New York State, I figured since most of our landforms are caused by glaciers, we would include a brief page on glaciers. So sea level was about 400 feet lower than it was today, and the last warm spell, 125,000 years ago, the seas were about 18 feet higher. And glaciers store about 69% of the world's fresh water. Again, all these interesting facts. You know, the students should have some fun picking these up for themselves and seeing what's interesting to them. So, and with that from the students, so once they go out, they do their field trip, they take their photos, the GPS. Oh, I pulled this up while Megan was speaking, but I will go through it again here. So Google Maps, you can actually incorporate into Google Sites, which is nice, and you can set up a permanent map. So I've located the 5 landforms, 5 like stationary landforms that I covered on the webpage. And you've got students and more teachers do this project. You can set these little tabs all over the place, and you can really see where all these landforms are. So I've included labels on all of them. I don't know if you can see that one. There's the Finger Lakes there. So we'll hand things over to Bob.
Thank you, Megan and Ben. I just want to reemphasize, first off, before I go and talk about assessing this project from both the student perspective and from the teacher perspective, that this is a project that involves real-world field trip experience. Also, it can incorporate any family kind of activities. If you've got a family out on the road and the student has a sophisticated enough phone with a camera in it, rather, those are applicable tools as well. And so we thought it was really important that we use the ability of these students to grow by looking at their peers' work and help their peers out as well by critiquing them. And so we wanted to introduce them to a way to critique people in a kind yet honest way. And so let me open up one of these tools that we have. So we created a Earth Science peer review sheet, and basically this is something that we would see using throughout the entire year, and each block of instruction would have its own unique review sheet that basically starts off with a description of what it is you're trying to get across to your peers. And part of this project involves the students going on to 3 of the websites of their peers. And so you may notice on number 3 above, tell your peer what you like. And there's an example of how to do that. 4, the more critical portion, it's how they can make things a little bit better. So going down through the form, there's some things I liked, some things I didn't like, and a grade down at the end, just kind of your website is interesting and attractive and I give it a 10, or your website needs a lot of work and I give it a 1, and everything in between. So this is a tool that we think will help them grow in their experience in this project and throughout the year. Next, I would also like to introduce the rubric for you to see. It's based on a 1 through 4 scale, and if you could zoom in on this, you'll be able to see that it starts off with an introduction of the project itself and creates some interest in what they will be doing, and then goes down through a 5. The first under assessed tasks being graphs, observations, GPS coordinates, and these kind of things is the next level of assessment. Creating a website, making it visually attractive, scientifically accurate, and communicating to others what it is you have learned. We also thought it was important to incorporate group work in this project so that we can assess whether or not these students have made an effort to work. We tell who did the majority of the work and how well they work together. And then lastly, carefully the kinds of work that is produced. And in our right column, a project that I think we all enjoyed working on together. Lots of challenges with all of us traveling and being in different places. I'm speaking from Portland, Oregon right now, and yet we're all meeting here. So this is it really shows the possibilities we have with this kind of technology. And I believe that we've all grown all science left over from their studies.
Just exchange this information, and I'm hoping, like you said, that we can go back to our classrooms and somehow incorporate, virtual learning in some way. I think that's really neat. And I think these websites are an excellent way for kids to just learn so much about what you're talking about here, the linguistic landforms, the bias theory, what's going on. There's just lots of information that kids can get out of this.